on to another Don Mackerel game with me, Donald Mackerel. Doing a different one today, but it's to do with my Xbox 360 and the month of love, my love of the Xbox 360. Why did the Xbox 360 lose to the PS3? So basically, it can be answered in two simple things, but we're going to go through the reasons why, personally, I think the Xbox 360 is better. From a technical standpoint, it had better memory, better bandwidth, the graphics processing unit was better, it was a better system, it was easier to program for. The PS3 was notoriously difficult for developers to make games for. Also, we're going to look at some of the games, so things like Bayonetta, clear example that it runs better on the 360 than the PS3, higher res, faster, everything about it is better. The orange box was almost impossible to port for the PS3. The version that they got was extremely bad in comparison to what came out on the 360. And bear in mind, this is all DVD technology as well versus the Blu-ray capability of the PS3. So talking of which, Grand Theft Auto 5 came on multiple discs. You had an install disc and then you had a game disc because it had to come on DVDs. PS3 was only one disc, still miles better than the PS3 version. If you're trying to play it on the PS3, I do feel sorry for you, honestly, it's such a thing. But it's the same with all of the Rockstar games, so your GTA 4 and your episodes, whatever. Even San Andreas, there wasn't a version on the PS3, but it was far superior, obviously, to the PS2 version. But yeah, didn't even bother making a version with the PS3, I don't think. I will check that. But yeah, all the Rockstar games ran a lot better. You've also got Red Dead Redemption. This was noticeably better on the Xbox 360 than it was on the PS3. Yet again, it's just that they were used to developing for PC. The PS3 was hard to develop for, so this was just easier to make for the 360. And again, the technical limitations of the PS3 made it awful. But the famous ones, we're going to hold them up for you. We'll start off with the two big ones. Oblivion and Skyrim, and you might be sort of going, I didn't notice much difference. And you've got, of course, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Why were Bethesda games notoriously bad on the PS3? The answer is memory leak. So the further you got into the game, the worse the experience got. So I don't know if anybody ever tried to do if this is the Ultimate Edition, as you see in New Vegas. I don't know if anybody ever tried to do everything within this game. You want to just do a playthrough of the game, nice and easy. You'll notice that the 360 version is better, but not by much. The more you play on the game, the longer you get. If you've got like 90 hours of games saved on something like this, one of the Bethesda games, you'll just notice that it gets awful. It'll crash regularly, it'll be slow, it'll stutter. They tell you that you've got to delete your other saves. It doesn't really help, in all honesty with you. They even tried to patch in bits to make the games run smoother on the PS3. They can't. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Skyrim. They forgot to even put trophies forgot to put trophies on the PS3 version. In reality, it was probably because if they put trophies on, it'd make it even worse running on there. But yeah, the Bethesda games in particular were far better on the Xbox 360 than the PS3. And these are just a few examples. If you look online, the vast majority of games run noticeably better on the Xbox 360 than the PS3. I think there's a couple of examples of games that run on PS3 better than the Xbox 360. And I'm not talking about... People online will go, Uncharted runs better on the PS3. Yeah. So, there's so many examples. These are just some of the big ones, some of the noticeable ones that run better on the 360. So why did the PS3 beat them? Number one, cost. As always, the PS3 came out at a lower price point than the 360. The reason for that, I have no idea. I think Microsoft are just idiots when it comes to making decisions. But the PS3 was a lot cheaper and it got the initial sales. Also, when you're going off the previous systems, the Xbox and the PS2, PS2 was the clear winner. So there, Microsoft really needed to come in with the incentive of, we're going to make the better system, and not only that, it's going to be cheaper. Come and buy ours. Get the people in to begin with. Just get the people in. As soon as you got them on your side, you do what you want. But no, they'd already lost the people with, arguably, the original Xbox was better than the PS2, but they'd lost that war. So you need to lower that price, get people in. They didn't. PS3 already had the notoriety, and then they had the lower price point. So they won on that front. But the big one was that the PS3 was the media center. Microsoft tried to do it with HD, DVD, and all that sort of business. I remember when the first Xbox 360 came out, you had to get a wireless dongle to plug it into the back of your Xbox just so you could go wireless. I mean, it was the better system, but things like that let it down. You had to have the external HD DVD drive. The PS3 launched with a Blu-ray player as part of it. It was cheaper to get a PS3 than it was to get a Blu-ray player. And again, you could use it as like a music system. You know, you could go wirelessly to your entire house. The reasons weren't just computing, if you know what I mean. They weren't just video games. Everything else made the PS3 a better system. And definitely when it comes to Blu-ray, you'll notice I can't even hold them an example because as soon as I get it, I throw them out. PS3 discs are a lot worse. They were created very, very cheaply. So now a lot of them are starting to break down. A lot of them are getting disc rot. But it's not just that. So yes, you do get higher rates of disc rot in the Xbox 360 in comparison to any other system. I think there's only the Wii U, which is, and again, I collect for that too. I think there's only the Wii U, which is really, really bad for disc rot. But the 360, yeah, awful. The amount of times I bought a game, it's fresh, I put it on my shelf, I go to play it 3 months later, and it's rotten. There's nothing you can do. It's just one of those things. Blu-ray, it doesn't really rot that I've seen anyway. It probably does, but I've not seen any rot. It does seem to last a lot longer than DVD. But on top of that, it seems like it's more scratch resistant. I don't know if there's a... Another thing is I'm not sure if DVD scratches easier than Blu-ray, because what I've noticed is my Blu-rays, whether it be for my PS4, whether it be for my PS3, or actual Blu-ray discs with films on, they don't seem to scratch as easily as DVDs. Like when I'm buying... Also, another thing that I'm not sure if it's real or not, DVDs seem to scratch a lot easier than Blu-ray. And that's whether it's your PS3 games, your PS4 games, PS5 now obviously, and Blu-rays with films on. DVDs and media that contains DVDs. So again, every single Xbox game is DVD. Your PS2 is DVD. Everything seems to scratch a lot easier. Blu-ray seems to be a lot more resistant to damage. And again, this isn't me. I'm not damaging things. It's just every time I buy something second hand, it appears to be damaged. I don't know whether that means that people that own DVDs care less. I'm not sure. All I know is every single time I go second hand to buy media, Blu-ray seems to be immaculate. DVD seems to be awful. So yeah, it lost the war on pretty much silly decisions, price points, and cutting corners really to try and knock out a system. So anyway, that's my thing. Is I personally love the 360, but I can see why people went down the PS3 route. I've still got PS3 games myself. I still go for the... So personally, even though... So, who did win the war? At the end of them, neither of them. So personally, I love the Xbox 360. It's my favourite console. Well, it's up there with the PS2. I'm not sure which would take the top spot. But yeah, I love the Xbox 360 in comparison to the PS3, but I can see why people went down the PS3 route. I still collect all the exclusives if I see them cheap enough for the PS3, but the Xbox 360 is the way to go for me. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the PS3 store closes down, whether a lot of the games suffer then or not, I don't know. Definitely nowadays, I would say go down the PlayStation route. So from PS4 onwards, that was my choice. That was my jam. But back in the day, the way to go for me was the PS3. It's the Xbox 360. I said the PS3 because the dogs made noise all the way through this video and really did my head in. I'm so sorry about the state of this video and the state that I've had to cut this in at the end. Don't own dogs. Dogs are the worst. And if you want the PS3, that's fine. I understand there's a lot of console wars going on. I don't really get it. At the end of the day, they're both great systems and they're both great to collect for. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little bit. Please do your own research and tell me I'm wrong. I'm always wrong. I've been Donald Mackerel for Donald Mackerel Gaming. I'll see you again soon. Cheers, everybody. Hell.